Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. This is going to be a reading on Donald Trump and David Pecker. Appears that Trump has a Pecker problem, and we're here for it. But first, I don't know if all of you are aware that I do have a second YouTube channel called Tarot of the Seven Seas. It focuses mostly on European tarot readings. Tonight's reading is on the Scottish First Minister. He is up for a vote of no confidence and needs to potentially make a last-minute coalition decision in order to win this vote of no confidence. Now, while many of you may not be wildly concerned with Scottish politics, all I'm going to say is there's a black cat that makes a rather large cameo in that video, and it's fairly early on. So if you're a cat aficionado who happens to love Scottish politics, I suggest you take a look over at Tarot of the Seven Seas. Back to your regularly scheduled video. Now, I know some of you thinking, David, does Trump really have a Pecker problem? Oh, he's got a Pecker problem. He's picked a peck of pickled peppers and has a giant Pecker problem. Of course, Stormy Daniels might say something to the opposite effect. That he's got a Pecker problem, all right. It's a big problem, but it ain't the size that's the problem. Oh, this trial is going to be so good. David Pecker is the former head of the National Enquirer, or AMI, which is the parent company that owned the National Enquirer. And he's been testifying for the last couple of days, explaining the whole catch and kill scenario and the benefits that AMI was affording Donald Trump. Donald Trump's attorneys on cross-examination tried to basically make it out that what AMI was doing, or National Enquirer was doing, was normal. This is just stuff they do for like powerful people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and other Hollywood actors and stuff like that. And they also were setting up attacking the credibility of Michael Cohen through David Pecker. They attack Pecker's credibility too, but they're really trying to undermine Michael Cohen's credibility because they know he's the Rosetta Stone for this whole thing. Upon the prosecution getting the witness back, they did a bunch of damage control that, from what I've read and heard, was very well done. Points that the defense was trying to make were blunted by the prosecution with the rebuttal, and then the defense has one more chance after that, if I'm not mistaken. But it doesn't look like they were able to really take down. They weren't able to take down the Pecker. The Pecker stood tall, withstood all their efforts. Oh God. You got Hanky. Oh God, the names in this trial. The names in this trial. I don't make them up, but I laugh at them. Okay. I think one of the key points that was made in this one that really did help was that David Pecker admitted that any story with Donald Trump was a big seller for the National Enquirer, but they purposely kept some stories out of the National Enquirer's headlines that would have been detrimental to Trump. And he admitted on the stand that that was done purely to benefit Trump, because if it was benefiting the National Enquirer, they'd put the stories on there because they'd make a bunch of money. So Trump appears to have a Pecker problem. Come on down. Let's examine Trump's big Pecker problem here, okay? You already know what the title of this video is going to be. Well, you've already seen it. I'll be careful with the thumbnail. Entertainment purposes only. David Pecker's testimony. How did it go now that he's all done? Okay, it's a question of integrity. I think one of the strongest points here is that David Pecker's testimony really pulls the curtain back on the goings on at the National Enquirer. It was revealing as to the type of journalism they are, and I'll put journalism in air quotes, but the type of journalism they are, and how they go about things, and their mindset. It's kind of like, finding out all the details behind professional wrestling, that they really aren't out there killing each other and stuff like that. So you get a peek behind the curtain and see what's going on. And the financial decisions that were going on there. I think he's a great guide for this. And I believe he came across as having a lot of integrity, and the defense was trying to knock down his integrity. They weren't successful in this. Crossed with the Two of Wands. And he's the opening salvo. He's the gateway to sort of explaining this conspiracy, because he was part of the conspiracy. But it also opens the door to the Karen McDougal statements, the Stormy Daniels statements, and Michael Cohen. He opens the door for the connections for all of these. So again, while Michael Cohen may be the Rosetta Stone, David Pecker he's a linchpin. He's a key speaker in all of this to explain to the jury what the scheme was and who the players were. So now he's like the narrator almost. Is he the narrator? He could be. Yeah, I guess he'd be the narrator. Michael Cohen's going to be more the main character, the protagonist, and Donald Trump's the antagonist in this one. But he's explaining everybody's position and why things were being done the way they were being done. Underneath it all is the Eight of Pentacles. It's about the money. It's about the money, who was being paid, why they were being paid, who would have made a bunch of money, who would have gotten things of value from all this. His testimony is valuable. It gives the jury the working machinations of everything that's going on. He literally is like a tour guide for this. And that's why I'm saying he's the narrator. He's the one who's introducing all the characters. He's explaining the plot. And he's going to be the one that's going to say, okay, let's see how this all panned out. And steps to the side. And then you watch the actors and actresses play their roles in this this Shakespearean drama that we are about to watch unfold. In the past, he's the Page of Wands. Again, he's your narrator. He's your guide. He's taking you, he is leading you through this journey. Michael Cohen will be a Rosetta Stone. He's going to tell you who did what and who said what. And he's going to put names to faces and all that. But the high level stuff, David Pecker is your guide. Current situation is the King of Swords. His testimony was strong, factual, and intelligent. There's not, the Eight of Cups is about emotions, but his testimony was factual and it was cutting. It's going to be hard to bounce back from this. You're not going to ruin his credibility. He came across as strong and intelligent. And here's the thing. Another thing I read about this was when Trump's defense team went after the Pecker. They commented that that Mr. Pecker needed to get the immunity deal done so that he could wrap up loose ends with like this trial, because they wanted to sell AMI to Hudson News, I believe it was, for like $100 million. And Mr. Pecker just sat there and paused for several seconds and then said yes, but qualified, saying it wasn't an urgent thing to do, or it wasn't under duress. Basically saying, yes, in order to sell the company, I needed to tie up these loose ends, but I didn't do it because I didn't sign this thing because I needed to get it done quickly so I could get the sale done. It's just, as a businessman, yes, this was something I needed to do to complete the sale. So he comes across as credible because he's not denying things that are believable and are true. he could say, no, that's not the case. That wasn't my intention. The jury might say, I don't know if I believe that. But he says, yeah, I did that. That's fair. But, just to be fair, it wasn't like there was some urgency here. I did it because as a businessman wanting to complete this deal, I knew this needed to be done. No big deal. It's part of doing business. And for the jury, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. In other words, he had an opportunity to tell a white lie that the jury might have picked up on, and instead he didn't. He showed integrity and honesty with that point. Does it help to make the defense's point? To a point. Lots of points in that statement. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I needed to do this. But because he didn't exaggerate or obfuscate his answer, everything else he told the jury is going to still be held credible. Overarching energy is the Eight of Cups. The emotional walking away. It was interesting. They asked if David Pecker says he hasn't heard from Donald Trump in 2019, but still considers Donald Trump a friend. That is a really interesting relationship. And I think what's really cool about that is that what Pecker is saying is that everything that happened was business. Pecker initially went in there because he wanted to be the eyes and ears for Trump. He wanted Trump to be elected. But not to the point that he was breaking campaign finance fraud laws, which is exactly what was happening. And it happened once earlier. They were giving an example of it. And when he saw it happen again, he started backing out. That's why he backed out of the Karen McDougal deal, because he started realizing, oh, crap, even though I talked to a lawyer that said this wouldn't be campaign finance fraud, he started getting the idea that, yeah, it was. This lawyer that he talked to was wrong. So he started backing out of it. So again, whatever you think of the National Enquirer in the way that they get their stories, this man has enough sense to not get himself in trouble. He'll go up close to the line, but he's not going to cross it. And if he does cross the line, he backs the heck away from that line quick. So this is like him backing away from the line here. He's going to comes across as credible, with integrity, and he knew when to stop. He knew when to not exaggerate and BS the jury or BS the court, and he didn't do anything to violate the law when he suddenly started getting the idea that maybe he was too close to the line for comfort. Lesson to be learned is the Empress. David Pecker, he took care of everybody. He explained, here's where this, he explained Karen McDougal. He explained Stormy Daniels, Stephanie Clifford. He explained Michael Cohen. He explained Donald Trump. He explained the National Enquirer. He explained the business. He explained the politics and the popularity, everything. He explained everything. He did a fantastic job. Great for the case. Lesson to be learned, justice. Yeah, strong witness, very strong witness in this one. And it pushes this case closer for to the proper judgment here. I think that the jury is going to look at David Pecker's testimony very favorably and give it the weight it deserves. The weight that the justice would afford it. This is a good day. The prosecution's off to a strong start. That smile is just because what the next questions were going to be. So, how does Donald Trump feel about his Pecker problem? There's a little blue pill for that. Oh, the bane of trophy wives everywhere, right, Melania? You married him. You married him. You get the little blue pill treatment sometimes. Just saying. The hazards of the job. And no, you don't get extra hazard pay for it. I wonder if that's in her. I wonder if that's in her prenup. Okay, so far we haven't heard any news yet that he's that he tapped into Melania and Barron's trust funds there. There was another hot rumor somebody was throwing out in the comments about maybe Jared gave him some of the $2 billion in the Saudi fund. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough if there's any shenanigans going on. All right. Trump's Pecker problem. How's Trump feeling about David Pecker these days? The Fool card. New beginnings. Oh, I think honestly, he's got David Pecker is now on the bottom of the totem pole here, the pecking order. David Pecker's at the zero level of the pecking order. I think again, if Trump were to become president, David Pecker's his vitality going forward would be limp at best, limp and lifeless. It'd be flaccid. Yes. Crossed with the Nine of Swords. Oh my God. Pecker told everything. Trump cannot believe all the stuff. He cannot believe that the loyalty wasn't there. Pecker took off the chain of loyalties and just represented himself, and he's going to walk off scot-free. And he's made this court case a nightmare for Trump. An absolute nightmare. Trump is stressing out over this big time. And I think the thing is, as much as Trump wants to go after David Pecker, he dare not because of the National Enquirer vault. All the stuff that they have. Trump might, and I know Michael Cohen was asking David Pecker for, they wanted all the dirt that they had on Trump because in case something happened to David Pecker, they wanted to know, or they wanted possession of all the stuff so nobody could hold it over Trump. I don't think David Pecker, if he did give them stuff or tell them about stuff, he didn't tell them about everything. And Trump knows that he didn't because he knows there's more stuff he's done wrong. And if Pecker has all this stuff on him, he probably has more stuff on him. So you can't abuse this man because, a videotape, a PP tape may suddenly appear out of nowhere. Make it right onto Access Hollywood or TMZ or someplace like that. And there you go. Yeah. Pecker was never fully under Donald Trump's spell. He was an ally of Donald Trump. He was, a business partner of Donald Trump, but his chain was very loose and Pecker had no problem taking that chain off when it served him to. Pecker might be one of those few people that will who treated Donald Trump as a business partner and understood the game. It was better at the game than Trump was. Because he was loyal enough to get what he needed, but not so loyal that he did stupid things. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I don't want him marrying my daughter, but I'm impressed. Okay. How does Trump feel about David Pecker? In the past, we got the Six of Swords here. David Pecker saved Trump's butt more than once. And here we go with a woman and child going away, going to Mexico, going overseas. So it could very well be that the whole story about the doorman and the love child, that could very well be true. And if I know David Pecker said the story was false, but it could be that there's other love children that David Pecker knows about that he's got in his back pocket. Suffice to say, let's just say this. David Pecker could take tumultuous times for Trump's own bad decisions, and smooth them out by catching and killing those stories. Current situation is the Empress. David Pecker, we had that card over here as well. David, his testimony helping everybody out. I think also, though, David Pecker did so much to help Donald Trump out. He's almost untouchable, like a mom on Mother's Day type of untouchable. again, Trump can't go after him because it's a pregnant woman. David Pecker probably knows more about love children of Trump's or women that were forced to have abortions by Trump. Something along those lines. He cannot go after him. Pecker's testimony was good. Trump knows Pecker's testimony was good. And he can't. It's got to be frustrating as hell for Trump. He cannot, he has to sit there and take it. He can't just be bombastic like that. He has to go play his little accordion of hypnotic falsehoods outside a couple of times a day, but he can't be impulsive in the courtroom. So far we've made it through a week of testimony, and he's not been reprimanded. Good on Donald. Way to show some self-control. Could very well be because the judge don't fool around none. Overarching energy is the Seven of Coins. Oh, God. Yeah. David Pecker's testimony is going to bear fruit. Again, Donald Trump wants to go after Pecker. He can't. He has to evaluate, what does Pecker have on me? How would I attack this problem? Probably, he's going to give his lawyers advice on how to go after him. But I think it's too late because I believe his testimony is done. Lesson to be learned is and here's the other problem. Trump wasn't paying Pecker either. Pecker's doing all these favors, taking care of Trump, making problems go away, and then Trump was going to stiff him. That's why Michael Cohen had to take out a home equity line of credit line, was to pay David Pecker for the services David Pecker paid. Because Trump was so damn cheap in these cover-ups, he screwed over David Pecker and he screwed over Michael Cohen. And these are the two people that were covering his butt for all his misdeeds. And he didn't show them loyalty. Again, Trump, loyalty is a one-way street. If Trump was smart, he would have recognized that loyalty is a two-way street. And you have to have some loyalty for the people that are doing the dirty work for you. That's where this is coming in. The lesson to be learned is the Three of Coins. Conspiracies involve more than one person. Michael Cohen and David Pecker helped you out. They helped keep things secret. And you just didn't do the minimum thing that you need to do was pay them the money. And you wouldn't do it. The so-called billionaire, so damn cheap, so stingy. It's going to be your undoing. Outcome is the King of Pentacles. Yeah, like I said, the so-called billionaire, the stingy billionaire, didn't pay the money to the people that were taking care of him, making his problems go away, stiffing him. He's his own worst enemy. There's the death card underneath it. Making an enemy out of David Pecker is not a good idea. And certainly, while David Pecker may not be an enemy of Donald Trump, he's no longer the staunch ally that he was. And David Pecker's a businessman. And David Pecker owes no loyalty to Donald Trump and recognizes it. Okay, so there's no court cases on Monday. Testimony will resume on Tuesday, and imagine they're going to have that Wednesday off again. So we'll get a little bit of a break, some air and oxygen in the room that's not dominated by Trump New York trial stuff. Rona Graff did testify to acknowledge that Stormy Daniels was in Donald Trump's Rolodex, or basically in the company files, as was Karen McDougal. Apparently she was testifying under, not duress, but she had to be subpoenaed. She was basically a hostile witness. And they didn't ask her any questions that were detrimental. Oh, by the way, Trump paid for her lawyer. But there were no questions that were being asked of her that would put her in any type of jeopardy. It was literally just confirming that certain people had businesses with the company, and that they were trying to basically establish that Stormy Daniels was visiting Donald Trump as part of a business deal. She wasn't there for anything other ting business type stuff. I guess she was there one day, and there was a lot of talk and gossiping going on around that. And there was some other testimony with David Pecker that would have put Trump in Trump Tower for like 3 particular days in a row. I'm curious how that's going to play out. Maybe that's when checks were signed. I'm not sure. We'll see how I don't know the timeline, so I don't know what happened. Okay. Well, I guess, will Trump go after David Pecker? We'll end it with this one. Will Trump go after David Pecker? Is Trump not going to touch that Pecker with a 10-foot pole? The double card. Of course he will. Because for Trump, it's just a betrayal, so he has to go after him. He just does. I wonder if that's going to I wonder how he's going to go about doing that without earning himself some more prison time here, or jail time, because you're not supposed to talk about the witnesses. But he's going to try and figure out some way to exact some revenge, it looks like. Let's just do a 4-carder on that one. Knight of Pentacles. Might attack him monetarily. Oh, loss, defamation. He'll probably try and bring a lawsuit against him. Something money related. Yeah, because Trump doesn't know how to pick his battles. He fights all the battles. It's going to cost him money too. It's going to cost him money. He's probably going to hit him with a frivolous lawsuit. Oh, hey, everybody's favorite. The Drunken Hillbilly Brawl card. Of course, you might make the argument that these are the National Enquirer readers. Trump, is he going to go after him? Well, Trump is Trump. He's going to do what he's going to do. He doesn't know how to pick his battles. He'll probably bring some form of lawsuit. He'll message his base to go after David Pecker and make David Pecker's life miserable, like he does to anybody who crosses him. Underneath it is the Wheel of Fortune here. If he does go after David Pecker, though, this could have some really serious consequences for him. Both legally as well as unintended consequences. As I was mentioning, the Drunken Hillbilly Brawlers here, David Pecker is one of theirs. Not that they know who this guy is, but he was the CEO of a magazine, of AMI, that produces a magazine that they like a lot. So, going after him may not be the flex that Donald Trump thinks it is, and it could end up costing Trump a lot more than just another blustery failed lawsuit. We'll see how that turns out. We'll leave it here. Thank you very much for watching my channel and supporting it. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so my video makes it out to a wider audience. To people recently discovering this channel or for the first time and who happen to be cat lovers, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you found us. If you want to see more black cats, go check out Tarot of the Seven Seas. And go get your black cat fix. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.